Okay, Pradeepji, we can start.
Shall we start?
Yeah. Yes, we can start.
Very good morning to one and all who have joined. So I welcome for today's reading. Before that, let's sit in a minute, silence, and meditate. Oh, hidden life, vibrant in every atom. Oh, hidden love. Oh, hidden life, shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know is therefore one with every other. Thank you. So today we have a young reader, young member of our group doing the reading. So let us all welcome Kritika Goyalji. So Kritika is a fresh engineering graduate. She has done a BTech in mechatronics from Banastali Vidyapith. She's basically from Ghaziabad and she's a young member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. And she has attended Bhuali camp or workshops in Bhuali. And she has been a speaker, active speaker, anchor in various young groups meetings from Prayas Theosophical Lodge. And today she'll be reading chapter 11, that is the place of beauty in life, from the book Trust Yourself to Life by Clara M. Cord. So this is the 11th chapter, and we have one more chapter left, I think, in this book. So let us welcome Kritika. Kritika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Brother Pradeep. So good morning, everyone. Today we'll be reading the 11th chapter, that is the place of beauty, from the book Trust Yourself to Life by Clara M. Cord. So let's start. People have tried to define beauty. Wordsworth described it as a multiple city of symmetrical parts uniting in a constituent whole. Coleridge says something similar. The old definition of beauty in the Roman school was multiplicity in unity. And there is no doubt that such is the principle of beauty. But Plotinus says that this will not explain simple beauty as that of the sunshine and the stars. He says it is the general opinion that a certain commensuration of parts of each other and the whole, with the addition of color, generates that beauty which is the object of sight. And that in the commensurate and the moderate alone, the beauty of everything consists. But from such a definition, it follows that beautiful colors and the light of the sun, since they are very simple, they do not receive their beauty from commensuration, must be excluded from the regions of beauty. In like manner, the most simple musical sounds will be foreign from beauty. Though in a song wholly beautiful, every note must be beautiful, as necessary to the being of the whole. So basically, we see here that life is one in essence. And therefore, to understand one aspect of it properly, it requires the study of all other aspects. In order to know any part perfectly, one must know the whole. The beauty of any whole seems to depend collectively on the beauty of its parts. For example, one wooden piece might not attract you or might not be of such importance to you than a whole beautifully designed dining table. Okay, if you are devotional, so close your eyes and think about Lord Krishna's posture, holding a basuri, giving a smile. But now let me take you to Radhaji, standing next to Krishna. Don't you think it is adding up more beauty? Think about it. Moving on, the Greeks sought the essential unity. To them, beauty lay not in the form which was but an epiphany, but in the incommensurable idea and finally in the all-pervading life. Says Plotinus again, beauty, for the most part, consists in objects of sight, but it is also received through the ears by the skillful composition of words and the consonant proportion of sounds. For in every species of harmony, beauty is to be found. And if we rise from sense into the regions of the soul, we shall there perceive studies and offices, actions and habits, sciences and virtues, invested with a much larger proportion of beauty. But whether there is above these a still higher beauty will appear as we advance in its investigation. More simple sounds will be foreign from beauty. Though in a song wholly beautiful, every note must be beautiful as necessary of the being of whole. There are individual items which do not commensurate with one another to produce a whole or complete beauty, like sa, re, ga, ma. These are just simple sounds, but when they are weaved together, they compose a beautiful song, beautiful poems, and whatnot. Okay, like Sister Suvrina once shared a beautiful story. So if somebody missed it, I'll repeat it. Every day, early morning, this little girl would come to the temple and stand before the Lord, close her eyes, and with folded hands, murmur something for a couple of minutes. Then open her eyes, bow down, smile, and go out running. This was a daily affair. The pujari was observing her and was curious about what she was doing. He thought she is too small to know the deeper meanings of religion. She would hardly know any prayers. But then what was she doing every morning in the temple? 15 days passed, and Pujari now couldn't resist but to find out more about her behavior. One morning, Pujari reached there before the girl and was waiting for her to complete the ritual. He placed his hand on her head and said, "My child, I have seen since the last 15 days that you come here regularly. What do you do?" "I pray," she said spontaneously. "Do you know any prayers?" asked the pujari with some suspicion in his voice. "No," replied the girl. "Then what are you doing, closing your eyes every day?" He smiled. Very innocently, the girl said, "I do not know any prayer, but I know A, B, C, D up to Z. I recite it 5 times and tell God that I don't know your prayer, but it cannot be outside of these alphabets. Please arrange the alphabets as you wish, and that is my prayer. And she ran, jumping on her way out. Pujari stood there dumbstruck, staring at her for a long time as she disappeared running in the wilderness. How innocently the young girl gave the message that it is the unconditional belief in God that we pray. And it cannot be out of the words she knows. When we are connected, establishing a relationship, we create beauty. To create beauty, harmony is required. Okay, in a family, individual men play their individual roles. But when we have responsibilities as a family, how beautiful it appears. Moving on. There are 3 stages in the perception of beauty: sensuous, idealistic, and spiritual. Each is reached by the understanding and transcension of the inferior stage. In the teachings of the priestess Diotima to Socrates, she says, the true order of going or being led by another to the things of love is to begin from the beauties of earth and mount upwards for the sake of that other beauty, using these as steps only, and from one going on to 2, and from 2 to all fair forms, and from fair forms to fair practices, and from fair practices to fair notions, until from fair notions we arrive at the notion of absolute beauty. And at last knows what the essence of beauty is. The soul has this affiliation to the One, to the Master, to the noblest existences. It immediately recognizes anything that is likewise affiliated with him. It is delighted by it, just as the soul is delighted by those things it finds calm and pleasant to see or hear. Our relationship with the One is what inspires us to recognize something as beautiful. When we see aged people, they're having these wrinkles on their face, on their body, on their hands, and oldness, and they have less glow. But when you look deep within, you will see a beautiful soul with so much experience. The experience is gained by not just their body, but by their soul also. I'll share again a story. Once a young girl was traveling in a town bus. This story was there in a newspaper, so I'll share it with you. So that girl was feeling very sick, and then a very well-dressed boy came and sat next to her. But after a while, when the girl started feeling more sick, the well-dressed boy felt uneasy and changed his seat. There was a man standing nearby the girl, and he was watching whatever is happening. So that man was a man who was, there was a gamcha, a towel. That man helped the girl while she was vomiting. He gave her water and even asked her if she was feeling better or not. She even asked her to help her to go home. So as we all know, our lower bodies are impure, prone to imperfections. But as we grow, connect to the Master, we connect to our higher bodies. If somebody is attending a class or not, if somebody, maybe this session is even sleeping while attending this session, but then he or she is somewhere in a subconsciousness connecting, and this makes a difference. The eternal beauty is the eternal life, says the beloved Plotinus yet again. Let us, therefore, ascend to the good itself, which every soul desires, and in which alone it can find perfect repose. Those who penetrate in the holy retreat of these sacred mysteries, having dismissed everything foreign from God, by themselves alone, behold the solitary principle of the universe, sincere, simple, and pure, from which all things depend, and to whose transcendent perfections the eyes of all intelligent natures are directed, as the proper cause of being, life, and intelligence. In itself, perfectly pure, not confined by any corporeal bond, neither existing in the heavens nor in the earth, not to be imaged by the most lovely form imagination can conceive, since these are all adventitious and mixed, and mere secondary beauties proceeding from the beauty itself. Sensuous is something which we sense, be it our eyes or ears or nose or whatever it may be. Idealistic is something which we mentally project. Oh, it should be like this, it should be like that, or whatever it may be. But in this stage, man is struggling and he'll be lost in the loop of passions only. Spiritual, it has nothing to do with what is happening. It is calm and composed. It is infinite and inconceivable. Achintya. Starting from individual beauties, the quest for the universal beauty must find him mounting the heavenly ladder, stepping from rung to rung, that is, from one to two, from two to every lovely body, and from bodily beauty to beauty of institutions, from institutions to learning, and from learning in general to the special lore that pertains to nothing but the beautiful itself, until at last he comes to know what beauty is. The priestess Daitama said, "But what if man had eyes to see the true beauty, the divine beauty? I mean, pure and clear and unalloyed, not clogged with the pollutions of mortality and the colors and vanities of human life, thither looking and holding converse with the true beauty, simple and divine. Remember how in that communion only, beholding beauty with the eye of the mind, he will be enabled to bring forth not images of beauty, but realities. For he has hold not of an image, but of reality. And bringing forth and nourishing true virtue to become the friend of God and be immortal, if mortal man may. Beauty is an eternal divine principle and it always evokes love. The second person of the Hindu Trimurti or Trinity is Vishnu, the god of love. And his Shakti or wife is the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of happiness and joy. And it too is a creative power. When goddess Narcissus beheld his image mirrored in the waters of space, he fell in love with it and created the universe. Daitama says that men love the beautiful, that it may be theirs. And when she asked Socrates, what is given by the possession of beauty, he could not answer. So she changed the word the beautiful for the good. Then he knew that the possession of the good gives happiness, and that men desire its everlasting possession because they desire birth in beauty, either of body or of soul. Strength and grace in men, says Daitama, creates bodies, desiring immortality, but souls which are pregnant create as poets, artists, inventors. Who, she asks, when he thinks of Homer and Hesiod and other great poets, would not rather have their children than ordinary ones? Desire is the cosmic urge to unity. So Plotinus says, indeed, whatever is desirable is a kind of good, since to this desire tends. Therefore, there is a universal desire for happiness, for it is the beauty calling. We must ascend towards the good, which is the desire of every soul. To attain the eternal beauty, it is for those who will take the upward path, who will set all their forces towards it, who will divest themselves of all that we have put into our dive, who will dismiss all the lures. So, to those who approach to enjoy or celebrate these mysteries, they are appointed purifications and the laying aside of garments worn before and enter into nakedness, purity, until passing on the upward way, all that is other than the God, all by himself. That person shall behold the solitary principle of universe, sincere, simple, and pure, from which all the things depend, for which all look and live and act and know, the source of life, of intellect and being. We fall in love with the garment, but not with the one who's wearing it. I do this with me, so I'll do this with others. This is what we believe, and this is what we do. We remain lost in ourselves, and we don't even try to find the real me, the real us. It is said that the beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. I'll share again a story because it is always easy and interesting to enter a storyland and learn its moral. Once upon a time, there was a girl who, though of humble origin, was so incredibly beautiful that she was famed throughout the region. Knowing how much the young men of the kingdom liked her, she rejected all her suitors, waiting for the arrival of some handsome prince. Well, it didn't take long for a handsome prince to come by, and as soon as he saw the young girl, he fell for her and showered her with compliments and gifts. The wedding was extravagant, and everyone said they made the perfect couple. However, the shine and excitement of the presents in the parties began to wear off. The young princess found that her handsome young husband wasn't as wonderful as she expected. He behaved like a tyrant towards his people. He boasted about his wife as though she was a hunting trophy, and he was a selfish and mean person. When she came to see that everything about her husband was a false appearance, she didn't hesitate to tell him to his face, but he answered her back in a similar vein, reminding her that he had only chosen her for her beauty, and she could have chosen many others rather than himself if she hadn't let herself be carried away by the ambition and her desire to live in a palace. The princess cried for days, seeing the truth in her husband's cruel words. She remembered all the many and good and honest young men she had rejected, only to become a princess living in a great and lavish palace. Wanting to undo her mistake, the princess tried to leave the palace, but the prince wouldn't allow her. Since everyone talked about the extraordinary beauty of his wife, and this added to the prince's reputation as an exceptional man. The princess made so many attempts to escape that she ended up locked away, constantly watched by guards. One of those guards felt pity for the princess, and in her captivity, he tried to cheer her up and provide some company and some conversation for her. As time passed, they were becoming good friends. They came to have such confidence in each other that one day the princess asked the guard to allow her to escape. But the soldier, who owed loyalty and obedience to his king, did not agree to the princess's plea. Nevertheless, he answered her, saying, "If you so want to flee yourself from here, I know how to do it, but it will call for a great sacrifice on your part." She agreed, confirming that she was willing to do anything. And so the soldier continued. The prince only wants you for your beauty. If you disfigure your face, he will send you far away from the palace so that no one can see you. And he will erase any and every trace of your presence. That is just the despicable, miserable kind of man he is. The princess replied, saying, disfigure myself? And where will I go to? What will I become of me if my beauty is all I have? Who would want to have anything to do with a horribly ugly and useless woman like me? I would, the soldier answered, confidently. His daily talks with the princess had led him to fall in love with her. To me, you are even more beautiful on the inside than on the outside. It talks about the external beauty. Whatever pride we have with respect to our external beauty, we will never be able to free our soul if it continues. There are some lovely words in King Solomon's Songs of Songs. My beloved spake and said unto me, rise up, my love, my affair, one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, the time of the singing of the birds is come. And this was the god Eros of the cells, and his dwelling place was the Tir-na-Og, the land of the ever young. What is our way to this supreme beauty? Thomas Taylor says, but here it is requisite to observe that our ascent to this region of beauty must be made by gradual advances. For from our association with the matter, it is possible to pass directly and without a medium to such transcendent perfection. But we must proceed in a manner similar to those who pass from darkness to the brightest light by advancing from places moderately lighted to such as are the most luminous of all. This reminds me of Plato's allegory of the men gazing at shadows on the wall of a cave, who, when they turned their faces to the light, were at first blind. Plotinus says the same, that the pristine beauty of our eternal selves has become clouded and defiled by its contact with matter. And that in order to become able to perceive true beauty, we must learn to divest ourselves by degrees of this impurity, since it is necessary that the perceiver and the thing perceived should be similar to each other before true vision can exist. Everyone, therefore, must become divine and of godlike beauty before he can gaze upon a god and the beautiful itself. So there is a prerequisite for the entrance into a region of supreme beauty. We will have to make gradual advances. For that, we will proceed in a manner similar to those who passed from darkness to the brightest light, by advancing from places moderately lighted to such as are the most luminous of all. Just like we follow the shadows of light and darkness, similarly we do in life. We have to pass through the dark tunnel with the help of shadows of lights and reach the other end, which is luminous and beautiful. You know, darkness had surrounded Lord Ram also, but he accepted it calmly. He had accepted to live his comfortable life and deception in relationship. He accepted when the most sacred relationship, his mother asked him for vanvas. He accepted that his father chose to keep his vow over his son. He had accepted that despite him being invincible, ingenious, and God, he had been tricked, and his support in tough days, his wife Sita Mata was kidnapped. But he didn't let the darkness pull him down. He surrendered completely and didn't rebel. He created, he sincerely followed the shadows of light, which we need to follow in our life. And he walked towards the path of the dark tunnel to reach the other luminous end. He created his own army. He conquered Lanka. He took Sita Mata back, and he became a king who was accepted by one and all. For him, Lord Hanuman, Lord Nal, Lord Neel, Lord Angad, and so many others were the shadows of light. So there are shadows of light in all of our lives. It is just that we need to find them. They might be near us, they might be far away. But if we have decided to cross the tunnel, then nothing can stop us. And we will reach the ultimate state of beauty, the luminous other end of the tunnel. Only the pure can see the pure. He says that we see what we can respond to. Thus, to the good men, virtue shining forth in the youth is lovely because consonant to the true virtue which lies deep in the soul. So the way in an assent in response, and this is the method in the words of Plotinus. It is now time, leaving every object of sense behind, to contemplate by a certain assent, a beauty of a much higher order, a beauty not visible to the corporeal eye, but alone manifest to the brighter eye of the soul, independent of all corporeal aid. The aspirant has already realized that all beautiful things are stages of the manifestation of beauty, and is tried to love and serve them. Gautama says that a man should begin in youth to visit and admire beauty, then to love one fair form only, and out of that create one fair thoughts. Then, seeing that beauty everywhere is one and the same, he will become a lover of all beautiful forms. Then he will love the beauty of the mind. And towards one who has it, he will be content to love and tend him. Finally, instead of being like a servant in love with one person or institution, he will draw towards and contemplate the vast sea of beauty, creating many fair and noble thoughts in boundless love of wisdom, till at the last the vision is revealed to him of a single science, which is the science of beauty everywhere. Thine eyes shall behold the king in his beauty, and the land which is very far off. Plotinus says that whoever would behold this beauty must learn to withdraw his view from the fairest corporeal forms, and convinced that these are nothing more than the images, vestiges, and shadows of beauty. The great, the sublime, the beautiful, they are the shadows of God upon earth. Joseph Mazzini says this, should eagerly soar to the fair original form which they are derived, as if they would say, let us depart from hence and fly to our Father's delightful land. He recommends a system of meditation, which consists in recalling the thoughts inwardly and trying to perceive the beautiful within ourselves. We must divest ourselves of all that is not beautiful until we perceive the true light, and that alone, everywhere immeasurable and excellent. We now require no guide, for we must now fix steadfastly our mental views. For with the mind's eye alone can such immense beauty be perceived. So, to indulge ourselves in the science of beauty, to meet the beauty within us, we are recommended a system of meditation, which consists of recalling the thoughts inwardly and trying to perceive the beautiful thoughts and the beautiful within ourselves. There are various ways to practice this. For example, a state of Sat Chit Anand. Truth, consciousness, bliss. And once we reach this higher state, we will be needing no guide, no torch, and now we can, with our mind's eye, perceive the immense beauty. Why are the kids called the manifestation of God? Because they are pure at heart. They have no impurities mixed. They don't wear the garments of worldly pleasure. So we have to again become that pure soul with a stability in a state of nakedness to see and feel beauty within us, the beauty surrounding us. He warns us that if our mind's eye is not thoroughly refined and is yet infested with any sordid concerns, it will be immediately darkened and incapable of intuition. For the perceiver and the perceived should be similar to each other before true vision can exist. And then he will perceive that all things are beautiful because a portion of beautiful itself supervenes and irradiates them. We can see because God has planted his image within us. As Proclus says, the author of the universe has planted in all beings impressions of his own perfect excellence. And by this mystical impression, which corresponds to his nature, they become united with their original, divesting themselves of their own essence and hastening to become his impression alone. Here again, love is drawn by beauty and union is a bliss. With what ardent love cries Plotinus, with what strong desires will he who enjoys this transporting vision be inflamed, whilst vehemently affecting to become one with this supreme beauty. What must be the condition of that being who beholds the beautiful itself? A beauty, if you once behold, said Dietmar, all other beauty fades. We should cultivate the response to beauty in ourselves. Then we would never be cruel. I once knew a man who had no ear for music. He religiously took himself to concert after concert and concert and tried to listen. He became the finest appreciator of music I ever met. Beauty in our souls makes for grace and graciousness. Says Plotinus again, bodies themselves participate of beauty from the soul, which something divine and a portion of the beautiful itself renders whatever it supervenes and subdues beautiful as far as its natural capacity will admit. For such beauty, since it is supreme in dignity and excellence, cannot fail of rendering its votaries lovely and fair. How beautiful the line is. A beauty if you once behold, all other beauty fades. So I recently came across a video on YouTube introducing a family who came from Mexico and settled in Vrindavan. They told that they have found the ultimate beauty and now nothing, no more worldly lures seems more beautiful and attractive to them. They have all been living in Vrindavan from past 10 years. And when asked, they told they are not planning to go back to Mexico as Vrindavan is their home now. The beauty not might be the same for everyone, but the very essence is. Gautam Buddha, as you all know, he meditated for several years and he found the enlightenment and the stage of ultimate beauty desired for. He had such a lavish life, so many palaces and whatnot. But once he attained the ultimate beauty, the enlightenment, he didn't look back. And the fact is that he never stopped and kept enlightening others. Once we have found the beauty, we should cultivate its essence in ourselves, and then we'll never be cruel. The evidence of beauty in the soul is love, faith, long suffering. By the banks of the Ilissus, Socrates, after he had told the young Phaedrus of the chariots of the soul, prayed, "Beloved Pan, and all ye deities that haunt this place, give me inward beauty of soul, and may the outward and the inward man be at one." The love of the beauty is essentially religious. Dr. Alexander Carroll says the love of beauty leads to mysticism. Song easily becomes transformed into a prayer, isn't it? He also says that ministers have rationalized religion. They have destroyed its mystical basis, but they have not succeeded in attracting modern man. A great German divine says that the basis of true religion is a sense of the holy, a sense of wonder. That is the essence of the new religion, which is dawning in the world, the religion of life itself. Holy, wonderful, lovely, invite. We too may see the king in his beauty, but the eyes with which we shall see him are not the eyes of earth, but the open eyes of the spiritual intuition. In the words of Plato, beholding the beautiful with that eye, with which alone it is possible to behold it. Let me quote one more, the beautiful Prestes Diatoma. He who has been instructed so far in the things of love, and who has learned to see the beautiful in due order and succession, when he comes towards the end, will suddenly perceive a nature of wondrous beauty. And this, Socrates, is the final cause of all of our former toils. A nature which, in the first place, is everlasting, not growing or not decaying or waxing or waning. Secondly, not fair in one point of view and foul in another, or at one time or in another relation, or in one place fair, at another time or in another relation, foul, as if fair to some and foul to others, or in the likeness of a face or hands or any other part of the bodily frame, or in any form of the speech or knowledge, or existing in any other being, as for example, in an animal, or in heaven, or in earth, or in any other place. But beauty, absolute, separate, simple, and everlasting, which without diminution and without decrease or any change is imparted to the ever growing and perishing beauties of all other things. He who, from these ascending under the influence of true love, begins to perceive that beauty is not far from the end. When I was first in our headquarters in Adyar, I used to hear the fishermen singing always the same song. One day, someone told me the free English translation of their song. Oh, my beautiful, come into my heart. What is the song without the singer? And what is the singer without thee? Oh, my beautiful, come into my heart and set its music free. There are very few of my words in this chapter. I have let my beloved ancient Greeks speak for me, but their words are far more beautiful. We should first of all realize that all the beautiful things are stages of manifestation of beauty, and we should love and serve them. The journey can be started by searching for beauty and then admiring it. Then to love one fair form only, and out of it to create fair and beautiful thoughts. Then realizing that beauty everywhere is one, which will make us a lover of all beautiful forms. And then we will love the beauty of the mind. It is like a vast sea of beauty out there, my friends. So just go and dive into that sea, and at least once do this. And then everything will seem so beautiful, so pure, so charming, and so peaceful. At the end, I would just like to say that beauty lies in the mind of the beholder, not eyes. And one more thing I would like you all to do is kindly unmute yourselves and just say thrice, we all are beautiful.
We all are beautiful. We all are beautiful. We all are beautiful.
You could just hear Brother Shikhar say that.
By the time we complete saying, we have not unmuted ourselves. Yes, we are all beautiful.
Okay, go with me. Everybody. We all are beautiful.
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 Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kritika. Thank you so much. And yes, in fact, indeed, it was very beautiful. Your talk in the morning was like this. I'm seeing through the windows. I can hear beautiful songs from the morning birds, and your voice and your words were nothing less than those beautiful songs. Well, Kritika has read out this chapter, and even she added many examples. That's really wonderful that she has prepared so many examples so that we can understand the author and the chapter in a much deeper sense. So, what is beauty? That was a very good question that she answered in the beginning. Beauty is not that appears to these eyes, nose, ears, and touch. It is that eternal beauty which is within us, within every one of us. So that eternal beauty is not something that just deals with appearance, but it is a feeling, a thoughts, our actions, and everything. Uh, and we derive this beauty, eternal beauty, from our soul. As we read in previous chapters, soul is the source of love, wisdom, and power. So love and beauty, same things, almost same things. Love is derived from beauty, or beauty comes out of love. So we can take it in that way. So soul is the real source of all these three faculties that we derive. So the title of the chapter is The Place of Beauty in Life. So what is the place of beauty? The place of beauty is nothing but our soul. Soul is the place of beauty. And everyone have that eternal beauty in their soul. Now, how to reach that? So that's a wonderful thing. To reach that, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. We need to pass through the dark tunnel, focusing on the light which is at the end. And the tunnel is nothing but the shadows of life. So, what are these shadows of life? It can be the shadows created by our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own ambitions, our way of thinking, from our mind, from even from our buddhi. So, if we have to reach the soul, we need to pass through our kama sharira, mana sharira, and the buddhi. So, we need to pass through all these three stages, and at every stage, we have to pass through the shadows of that we have created ourselves. And once we pass through these shadows, focusing the light at the end of tunnel, then we reach the place of beauty, that is the soul, and that is the ultimate stage, that is Sat Chit Ananda. That's the place where we can derive this beauty, the eternal beauty. So thank you so much, Kritika, for enlightening us with these wonderful chapter and wonderful examples that you give in between. Thank you so much. I really appreciate how much you have prepared for this 45 minutes of talk. Your preparation, we can see your preparation in your words. So I open the session for question and answers. If anyone wants to ask some question or any comments, so Kritika, please go ahead.
Yes, Rajanji.
Actually, Kritika, when we were reading, I was reminded of a very, very famous love story, Laila Majnu. According to Persian, Laila means dark. Majnu means who has gone mad. Junoon. People don't remember their actual names because according to that society, that girl was dark. People used to tell that boy, अरे काली लड़की है यार, क्यों मरा जा रहा है? मुझे नहीं मालूम काली है कि गोरी है, मेरी है. And he became literally mad after her. So beauty lies in the mind, not only in the eyes and the sight. You may correct your eyesight and go to a doctor and spend 1 lakh rupees for one eye. That won't correct your vision in an actual sense. Kritika, I'm hearing you for the second time and I'm impressed. Thanks. Thanks, bhai Shikhar ji. आप कृतिका फिर से ले आए हैं. मैंने दूसरी बार सुना है. And I'm happy that she's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Rajamji, for joining early and sharing your feedback. So before anyone asks for Taralji, Taralji actually had a very urgent work or meeting coming up, so he left in between, but he has left a message. The poetry will come later, but the message is Kritika is presenting wonderfully on beauty, as beautifully as in the chapter from inner self of her being. Please give her a big clap and blessings from my side. So that's what his message was. And the lines he will share later.
I am waiting direly for them. Please convey my thanks to him.
Yeah, sure.
But I would really like to hear from Basumati ma'am if I.
कृतिका, बहुत ही जैसा कि सबने कहा है, मैं कोई नई बात कहने नहीं जा रही हूँ, लेकिन बहुत ही अच्छा प्रेजेंट किया है. एक एक शब्द जो निकल रहा था, बेशक वो तुम रीडिंग कर रहे थे, उसका वाचन कर रहे थे, लेकिन वो अंदर से आता हुआ प्रतीत हो रहा था. तो इसका मतलब यह है कि वो शब्द दूसरे को छू जा रहे थे. बहुत ही अच्छा आपने प्रेजेंट किया और बहुत ज्यादा आपको आशीर्वाद है, बहुत ब्लेसिंग्स आपको है कि आप आगे भी इसी तरह अपने थियोसॉफी के प्रचार प्रसार में आप काम करें, ऐसी मेरी विश है. और गॉड ब्लेस यू. गॉड ब्लेस यू.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Sumati ji. Any comments? So, Mansi ji, are you there?
Her voice is not.
Mansi, your voice is not audible.
My voice is not clear. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So Kritika, when she was reading the chapter, she never distorts the meaning. When she's reading the chapter, it is so, again, I would say it is very pure because you're connecting the threads, reading it, paragraph by paragraph, word by word, sentence by sentence. Then you're introducing stories, make us understand what you understood from the whole chapter. And it was really beautifully expressed, the way every word, every line was read. And thank you so much, because what sometimes we do is we distort the meaning and we give our own interpretations. We really confuse everybody, including ourselves, while reading the chapter. But you never do so. You always read from the heart. Thank you so much.
So much, ma'am.
Thank you, Mansi ji. So, before anyone asks a question or a comment, Kritika, I just want to make some brain exercise for you. So, just trying to see what are your thoughts, because thoughts from young people are very new and creative. That's why I always ask these questions. I'm not asking this question so that I don't know the answer or something, but just want to know what are your feelings. Going back to our example of what the author has given us, the place of beauty is that the light at the end of the tunnel, and we pass through this tunnel. And this tunnel is nothing but the shadows that we have created ourselves, the shadows of all our worldly feelings, our ambitions, our selfishness, our troubles, our attachments, everything. All these things forms shadows, and we need to pass through these shadows to reach that light, and that is the real eternal beauty. Now, sometimes as a young girl, some shadows are so big, they cover you so much. They even make you cover that the light at the end of the tunnel itself is not visible for you. So you're completely covered in some shadow, some ambition or some attachment or something. So then what do you trust? Which way you go to come out of this shadow and to find that light at the end of the tunnel? How do you trust and what do you do?
Whenever we are covered in some trap or something, we always know that something is wrong with us. If I am late today, I know because yesterday night it might be I had eaten something because of which I couldn't wake up earlier. Maybe I have slept late. So I always know. Everybody knows whatever is going on with them. So I believe that measuring, like, what can be measured can be managed. So one should measure your daily routine or your shadows and then manage them. And right now also, if I have some problem, I always stop. I take a pause and because to analyze is very much necessary. If you analyze your problems, your solutions, then you cannot move forward. This is what I do.
Yes, something that I was expecting that a young child like you should answer. Just to add to whatever you said, so sometimes when we feel like we are lost, sometimes some shadow or something that attachment, say for example, an attachment, covers us so much that we don't even see that light at the end of the tunnel. We feel we are lost. We don't know which side we need to go. So at that time, only thing that we need to trust is our inner voice. It says what is right to do at that step. So just do what is right at that step, and then without thinking much of the result. So that's exactly what we see from the teachings of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So when you feel you're lost, when you feel you're directionless, when you feel which way you need to go, you don't know. When you're completely filled with darkness, then just do the right thing. Do what you feel it is right, and your experience tells what is right, and it should satisfy yourself, and then leave the results. you you don't worry about the result, whether you come out of it or you don't come out of it, or whether you succeed or not, or whether it's right or not wrong. You don't worry about those results. Just do what you feel is right. And in your experience, if you do something wrong, then that will be a lesson. If you do that, if you do something right, then that will be a good result. That's all. So doing right at that moment without thinking of the result is the only thing that we need to do when we feel we are lost and we are directionless. and when we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because if we are seeing the light, we know we need to go towards that light. But if everything is covered and we don't see that light, we don't see the direction, then doing the right thing, taking the right step at that moment, just thinking of that moment without worrying about the result is what we all can do. Well, that's all this my comment to add to that. Shekharji, anything else?
Nothing. I'm just enjoying the beautiful interaction. Yeah. Okay, just maybe one question to leave everyone with, to think later, not to answer maybe now. That okay, we have discussed about what is beauty. That beauty is inner and not outside. No, but beauty is outside also, no? Isn't it? But what makes it not beautiful? Or what makes us call it not beautiful? And what makes the spirit beautiful? What is that nature? Okay, we are calling that spirit and love is beautiful, and the physical appearance is not beautiful or not the real beauty, but it also has a beauty. When you see things, when you see a tree, it is with full of green leaves, it is a different type of beauty. When all the trees, all the leaves are gone and it's only branches remaining, it's another kind of beauty. A child, a baby has its own beauty, an old person has its own beauty. So what is it that we are actually aiming for, that is called beauty? Just I'm putting the question that what is it that we are calling beautiful? Just thought.
So, Kritika, would you like to answer for that? Very easy. I think you have already answered in your talk. So you just have to.
Actually, you have already answered. Beauty, the ultimate essence of the beauty is same. And I mentioned it that the definition may be different. Ma'am said that किसी का sketch बन रहा है, किसी का तैयार हो चुका है. So it is totally up to us. Then again, I read a poem in which there was a hemlock tree and eyes. So eyes and hemlock tree are usually not written by poets or taken by poets as beautiful things. But the poet Robert Frost, in one of his poems, he took hemlock tree, which is, considered a bad thing, and a crow, which is again, like in our Hindu dharma, we usually approach crow when Shraddha appears, right? So beauty for everybody is different. A crow might not be beautiful for you, but for Robert Frost, it appears so beautiful that I shared the poem. When you will read it, you will also realize, okay, the crow can also be beautiful. The hemlock tree can also be beautiful. So beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Okay, so if we go further, I would like to go further than that. Okay, and no offense to any people who have made that statement that beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. But as you said, beauty does not lie in the eyes, it's in the mind, right? I would suggest that not even in the mind, because the mind is the one who creates all the conditionings, right? Like we make a definition of beautiful, that such and like Rajamji gave an example of Laila Majnu, that we create framework of beauty, like only such and such person with a such physical attributes is beautiful, or such and such tree or such and such thing is beautiful. But who is creating this? Our mind. So actually, I said that in one of the times earlier, but I felt that beauty is not in the object. Beauty is the absence of the subject. That is, when I am completely absent, any conditioning, I have no definition of beauty in me, no conditioning, then I see everything as it is. I see a crow as a crow. I see a pigeon as a pigeon. I see a peacock as completely without any definition. And then I think everything is beautiful. What you said, that it's an ocean of beauty everywhere. But that can only happen when in the other words, Brother Pradeep has said that all these shadows are actually conditionings that we have created by our own thing. Okay, that I should look in a particular way. But ultimately, I think when we are not there, things happen in the universal way. Rit Satyam, it is said. Like suppose on your table, the books are scattered, right? Oh, my table, I'm sorry, my table. And somebody comes and see, oh my God, what a mess. But suppose I arrange them, the same thing becomes beautiful. So when there is order, natural order, is divine order, and our interference is gone, everything becomes beautiful. Maybe then there is no inner, outer, or spiritual, material beauty, and then everything is beautiful. That was just
yeah, and we being human beings, to attain that stability,
yeah,
it requires a lot of maybe meditation or maybe stableness. Then only we can see that okay, everything is beautiful.
beautifully, totally.
Rajan, you would like to say something? Han, Rajan, please go ahead.
Actually, as per se, it is also a cultural and a sociological construction. गोरी लड़की काली लड़की matrimonial column में a South Indian father will write honey colored girl. I was looking for a honey colored girl. Then somebody said, यार कल मधुमक्खी की तरह तेरे बेटे को काट डालेगी मधु. और नीचे दूर उधर हाथ लगाओ तो मैली हो जाता. Golden hair, कमल जैसी आंखें, all our goddesses are Kamalakshi and all. It is a sociological construction also. We were told that this is beautiful. We were conditioned. That what is the condition? We were conditioned. लंबी लड़की, छरहरी लड़की, पतली कमर वगैरह. मैंने एक बार बनाया भैया, एक ऐसी लड़की बनाई, सुराहीदार गर्दन, कमल जैसी आंखें, मछली जैसा भयानक. शूर्पणखा से भी भयानक दिखी. पता लगा कंस्ट्रक्शन. कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑल्सो एक्सटर्नल करना. उसके बाद तो ये मेरी माँ है भाई. मेरी माँ को सुंदर नहीं होना है, मेरी माँ को मारे. और बीवी को तो बिल्कुल सुंदर नहीं होना यार, बाहर जाना ही मत, अंदर बैठो तो सुंदर होता. What you said was good. It is बहन, माँ, पत्नी जितनी कम सुंदर हो उतनी ठीक. उनको विश्व सुंदरी बिल्कुल नहीं होना. विश्व सुंदरी होना है तो देखो किचन में रहना है.
Thank you, Rajan ji. To put together what both Shikharji and Kritika were trying to explain, beauty is the absence of the subject. Only then we
philosophy.
And that subject itself is what the author tried to explain, and the shadows of a feeling or ambitions or attachments or mind. Yes, mind also creates conditions. Our buddhi also creates conditions. So all these conditions created by our various bodies, not only the physical body, but the astral, the mental, and the buddhi. So the shadows created by these bodies, once they are absent, once we come out of it, then we feel the real beauty. And the example what Kritika said, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So here, again, beholder is not the human or the physical body or something. It's again the soul. Beholder is the soul. And the eye of the soul is the inner eye that opens when we meditate. So we need to take it in that way, and that eye can see the real beauty. The beholder is the soul. Who are we? We are the soul who are living in this body. So we is not this physical body or the other three bodies, but we means the soul. So beholder is the soul, and the eye is that eye of the soul, the inner eye. So I think when we put together, everything gives the same meaning, right? So that's the beauty of discussion, actually. So when we discuss more and more, we come out with more and more terminologies, and we understand the things in a much better way. Thank you so much for this wonderful discussion, for your involvements, and so I think it's time up. So time to close our meeting. Let us all close our eyes and open the eye of our soul and see the beauty of what has come out of this discussion. Om Sarve Vaisukhinas Santhu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. So the meeting is closed for today.
Thank you, Pradeepji. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kritika.
You can close the live recording. So
yeah, I'm ending the meeting now. Yeah.
yes, I mean the recording, only the recording.
No, okay.